Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we're looking at the Play Arts Guy Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman figure. This is the fourth of the four main figures. We've had Batman, Superman, Armored Batman, and now Wonder Woman. You guys know the Superman figure was a total failure. I did not like that very much at all, and none of you really did either. Batman had some good things, but wasn't that great, and then Armored Batman was definitely moving in the right direction, but still had some serious problems. So a lot of people were thinking, well, Play Arts, they generally make really good female figures, so Wonder Woman should be a good figure. And I'm here to tell you that we're going to talk about that in the review. So let's get it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about 23.5 centimeters, which makes it just about 9 3/8 inches. So I don't have the other ones to compare her to, guys. Most of you probably know by now that I'm moving, and it's going to be a long process since it's a big move, and all of my stuff is already packed up, so I can't compare her. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to have to do without. So it'll have to do. All right, let's look at the accessories first. We have 6 total hands. We have 2 fist hands, 2 gripping hands, and 2 relaxed hands. Then we also have her sword, and her lasso, and her shield. That's it, so not a ton of accessories. But I think that's probably a fair amount of accessories, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. The sword can go into her belt. It's a very snug fit, by the way, and the belt thing doesn't have a swivel or anything on there, which is a little bit disappointing. You can definitely get some more posing options if you can rotate the sword around, so it's a little bit of a bummer, but it's not a huge deal. And then the lasso just kind of snaps into this little loop right here, so nothing really impressive there. The shield is a little bit better than normal. She can hold it a little bit better because they left the handle part an actual open handle, so she can grab it without having to worry about things popping off like on the Sparta Batman. So that's pretty cool. Now, as far as the figure goes, the paints are okay. The reds and golds and blues are all fairly uniform. They look okay. We have some decent paint work going on the gauntlets. Let's zoom in so you can see that. It looks pretty good. It's not bad. I'm okay with it. Most of it's pretty clean. The paintwork on the face, while it looks nothing like Gal Gadot, it's clean enough. The eyes and the little head thing look okay. The mouth is not painted very well, though. The lips are missing some paint on the upper lip. And the head sculpt is just kind of weird. It doesn't look like her at all. It's almost like they tried to not make it look like her because it doesn't in any way. But you can see there is some good sculpt work if you look at the brace thing on the arm. It's very cleanly done, very nice. Same thing with the chest. It looks okay. If we go down to the boots, the individual details all look pretty nice. You can see the buckles and things. The paintwork's clean enough. Same thing down here by the feet. So it looks okay in most cases. However, they screwed this figure up in quite a few ways, so we're going to just talk about it as we go through the review. The head is on a ball peg, so that's a good thing. It's actually a double ball peg, which you guys know I prefer that over any of the other designs, and it works just fine. Her neck is also on a ball peg. For the shoulders, we have that new design, which I thought they were going to go back for this one since it's a very slim figure, maybe to do it like the way they did Harley Quinn, where it's just the hinge built into the arm and it pegs into the body, but they used that ball hinge design. So if you raise her arm, she looks like a robot. Not the best idea. It can be hidden on the other figures a little bit better. This one doesn't hide it very much at all, and if you raise this arm, you might be able to see right through the figure. Let's see. Yep, you can see right through it. So it's not great. It's functional. You can raise the arm all the way up. You can rotate it around well enough. It just doesn't really look good. And you do only get the bicep swivel right there. So this plastic is a little bit soft, so you can bring the arm around a little bit, but it doesn't really accomplish that much. So just be aware of that. So you also have your ball hinge for the elbow, which affords another bicep swivel if you really need it. Of course, it didn't work just there because it's really stiff. There you go, you can see it rotates. Here's the thing about this. The ball hinge should have been much smaller. Humans pinch in at the elbow, especially if they're muscular in any way. The bicep's bigger than the elbow, and then the forearm's bigger than the elbow. But they used a really big ball hinge on her, and it really destroys the look of her arm. Does not look good. So that's a bit disappointing. It's functional, but disappointing. Then for the wrists, we have our standard ball hinge, which is just fine. Now here's something that's both good and bad. For the torso, you guys know I don't like that hinge ball peg combination that they've been doing. This one's back to the double ball pegs, so you can lean her forward, you can lean her back, and you can lean her side to side and rotate her all the way around, and it would have been perfect, except they didn't sculpt it well. They didn't account for the articulation at all, so as soon as you lean her back, her chest opens up. And then her ribcage is sculpted really oddly. The ribcage needs to go way higher up, and this needs to be hollowed out. But they can't do that because of the way they did the shoulder joints. So they need to not combine these different styles. They need to use the older style shoulder if they're going to use the older style ball peg. It accounts for the articulation much better. So leaning her forward and side to side looks okay, but you can see inside the chest if you lean her back. So it's going to be up to you whether or not you like that. I do like that articulation better. It's just not executed that well on this figure. It's a little bit weird. And to keep in line with things being a little bit weird, her lower torso, standard single ball peg. They haven't changed that before, but it's just weird. She's got this odd lump right there in her lower torso. I don't know why they did that. This should be way smoother. Then when you lean her forward, there's a gap. You do get a decent range out of it, but it just looks weird all the way around the way they did it. I guess it could hide once you pose it, but it's not a great situation. Something that is really good though is the skirt fits nicely, but is still loose and keeps everything covered up. The big gap in her butt I'm okay with because you shouldn't be lifting up the flap anyway, and having that gap allows the skirt to not stick out really big like that. So I'm okay with that. The skirt works really nicely. For the hips, we have our standard hips. They go all the way forward, probably even another one. If they bump into the torso, they stop. That's how it's always been. That's how it still is. They go that far forward, and they don't look too bad. It could definitely be better, but it's not terrible, so that's okay. Then as far as going out to the side, they do go out to the side, no problem. So that's okay. You'll notice part of the skirt is sculpted onto the leg. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I think it's okay. And then you have your thigh swivel built into that, so that's good. They didn't add the cut joint, thankfully, so that's a good thing. Now here's an issue. On the variant Wonder Woman, they went with a ball hinge knee rather than the double hinge knee, and that would have been way better because on this figure, you can see the leg anatomy is really weird. The legs come straight down, then there's a big lump, and then the legs shoot off and rotate from the bottom, from underneath the knee. And the hinge, while the hinge actually functions pretty well for being one of the double hinged knees, it looks okay, but it's not as good as it would have been if they went with that other style. So it's okay, but it's not great. And the other style would have made it look much cleaner because you wouldn't have had all of these gaps in the armor. You would have just had this armor connected to the knee, this armor at the top of the knee, and then the ball hinge behind all of that. It would have worked much better. But this is functional, so I guess it's okay. Then for the ankle, we have a ball hinge. I don't know why they went with brown. The only brown on her leg is the straps, so it should have been probably the red or the gold color, but oh well, it's brown. It's functional. You can use it going forward and back, and you can rotate it around to get an ankle rocker, so that's pretty good. And then here's the last bit of weirdness. We have a toe joint, which is okay, but they offset the hinge, the peg, so that when you rotate it, it drops down and creates a big lump. I don't know why they did that. It's just weird. The hinge needs to be closer to the end of the sculpt so that it doesn't do that. But that's what it does. So all in all, the figure's about the same as the other figures. It's got some decent things. It looks okay in general. Once you pose it, it probably won't be terrible. But it's just really weird. And for the price point, I don't want weird. So that's why, as of right now, this is my last Play Arts Kai figure. I may be tempted to get Wolverine and Deadpool once we see some paint on them. I don't know. I'm going to do a video about the Comic-Con stuff soon. So if you haven't already seen that, if it's not already out, wait for that. And if it is already out, you should go see it. I don't know when I'm uploading these videos, so just look around. You'll see if it's out or not. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day, so make sure you come back for all of that good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.